Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alrighty, so tonight we've got a fair bit of stuff on because we've got this PC from the other night. So I'll get to that. But we're also going to be building Micks PC a bit later on, which is, from what I can see, I think it's a bit of a video editing workstation sort of computer. I can't remember the conversation I have with every particular customer. I'm sure Mick will remind me if he's watching live tonight. But yeah, it's got a couple of things I did notice when I was bringing up his box of parts. There's an 8TB hard drive and there's two 1TB SSDs. So yeah, be sure to check that one out a bit later. But before we get started, we've got Todd's PC here from Friday night or something like that, sometime late last week. And we had a few problems when we were building it. So one of the main problem that we had was the radiator. I can't mount the radiator to the top there without like doing hard mods to the case. And then we also had a problem with these three front fans, which look like ordinary Corsair RGB fans, like SP 120 mils. And this is a $270 case. Yeah, I honestly I did not even check what these fans were at the front. So it turns out in this $270 Corsair case, they include pre-IQ software fans that only have 4 LEDs in each of them. They're not compatible with any multicolor program at all, so you can just use them on single color, and you can't control them with software at all. You have to take the glass panel off the back of the case and press this little controller in the case to control these fans at the front. So look, I think I've said this is like Todd's PC. It's actually for Todd's daughter. So I just wasn't really comfortable shipping them out, these shitty included fans here, which yeah, I found out the hard way when I said I had to remove the controller and install a new controller. Well, I installed the new controller, but these controllers, even though these cables plug into it, these fans will not be controlled with it. They are too old. They're the old style, and basically they're not compatible with any software control. So that's just shit. So instead of that, look, I had charged Todd an extra $30 here for this Corsair fan on the back because I was thinking, yep, Corsair fan, Corsair controller, we're going to hook it all up and it'll be all nice and synced in together. But that's not actually going to happen because of these crappy fans at the front. And instead of charging Todd like $90 on top of the $30 fan that I've also included, plus he's spent like $270 on this case and stuff like that, I've come up with a better option. So for 25 extra bucks, we're gonna chuck in a 3-pack of these Cooler Master 120mm white fans. So they won't be black; they'll be all white at the front there. So that'll be nice. And I've got a spare white Leon Lee fan here that I can include as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all these together tonight. We're going to do a bit of reconfiguration here with this build. So we're going to remove these fans. We'll remove the Corsair controller that I installed the other day because I thought okay, let's just do it. I'll do this in 2 parts. I'll deal with the controller and all that shit off camera. I'll just do that quickly while messing around with quotes for people and stuff. The thing is, I got stuck. I got stuck real fast when those fans wouldn't play with a modern Corsair controller, because the older controller wouldn't talk nicely to the other fan that I'd installed. You see, so you can see how this kind of sort of spiraled, because this is obviously like this isn't one of the normal cases that I sort of build in and recommend. Like, I'd never built in this case before, but I give customers the freedom to pick their own case, and if they've got a case that they like the aesthetics of, I'm more than happy to build in it for them, unless I can sort of find some like pretty big glaring reasons not to. And I mean, on the surface, this looks fine. I didn't have any reason to suggest otherwise. If I'd known the fan situation, I would have been like, oh, that's a bit rich. Maybe look at like pretty much any other option. But anyway, look, it's done now. At least she's going to get the case that she wants, and I think we're going to be putting in some much better fans, considering.
Yeah, I think so.
Because what's the point of having all this stuff in here, like nice and rainbow, and then you get like a flickering yellow or blue or green light at the front? That's a bit shit, right?
So,
Yeah.
Patrick says, I've been telling people all day about the benefits of dried grapes. It's all about raising awareness.
Raisin awareness. That's the second. That's the second grape-related joke that you've made recently, I believe. But yes. So who have we got in the
Sean
comments?
says, hi bro, how are you?
Hey Sean, how you going?
He wants to know how much is it worth to buy a PC and customise.
Well, I mean, like if it's custom, then it really depends exactly on what parts you want, right? That'll be the bulk of the expense, right? Like, you know, compared to like the graphics card and like the CPU and stuff, my charge is nothing.
Sean wants to know, do fans cool down a PC?
Do fans cool down a PC?
Yeah.
Fans. I mean, sure. Like, I guess you could say like simply fans cool down a PC. But a fan doesn't cool down a PC the same way that a fan, like a pedestal fan on your desk, cools you down, right? Like, the way that PC fans keep the PC cool is they transfer heat. So what we've got here in this case is a pretty standard configuration. So we've got 3 fans on the front, 3 120mm fans on the front, and we've got 2 120mm fans up here on the radiator that are in the exhaust position, and we've got one on the back there that's also in the exhaust position. And so basically what happens then, we've got 3 fans blowing cool air in from the front all through our PC case, and up the top here it's all heat being expelled out the top. So we've got a nice balanced airflow of sort of 3 fans pushing in, 3 fans pushing out. So if that sort of makes sense, and that's how a fan and PC fans are designed to cool a PC. It's not so much about blowing lots of volume of air over the surface of it to cool it down, sort of like how a fan would cool you down. So.
Corsair's like a real dick move by Corsair.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean Corsair's cases. Here's the thing, right? Corsair used to had a really good reputation for PC cases, like back in the day, right? And then they came out with some sort of less than stellar designs, and obviously here we've got one, right? So like I love like I've got another Corsair case here. This one's pretty good. This is the 4000X. I can't really fault that one too much. I will say that Yeah, it says that it supports like a 280 millimeter radiator, I think, but you can't fit a 200 millimeter radiator in there at the top. And if you put a 280 in that, you have to replace the three 120 millimeter fans at the front, and yeah, it's so that's my only criticism for that case. For this case, I mean, I can criticize it for that same problem about mounting radiators, but I can extend it out to even 240 millimeter radiators won't fit up top, and then I can say that you don't even get proper fans. I mean, these fans, these ones here, these will be coming out. These won't be getting repurposed in anyone's case or anything like that.
E-waste.
No, they're not going to e-waste. They're just going into the pile of non-RGB spare fans that when someone's got like a cheap PC that they're building and I think that they need an extra fan, I'll throw an extra fan in there. Someone brings in a repair that could really do with a second fan and they've only got one, I'll chuck it in. I'll chuck one in then. But it's just going in that pile of nothing, basically. I'm not gonna sell them to a customer as RGB fans or anything like that because, like I said, just completely shit.
And Darren says hi on here as well.
Hey Darren, how you going?
And Sean says, okay, cool, thanks. And he says, what is the best brand PC to use in your case, I'm assuming?
Oh, dude, all of the PC part brands have their own premium products and mid-range products and budget products. So, you know, like ASRock have a reputation for really cheap and nasty boards, but then ASRock makes some of the most crazy fuck off high-end motherboards that you've ever seen, like major flex style motherboards. So, like, yeah, it all depends. It all depends. Like if you're an enthusiast and you like certain brands, then most probably we can build a PC that's really good using those brands, right? If you like, if you're an MSI fan, we could do like all MSI stuff. For example, you know, if you're an Asus fan, we do all Asus stuff. Gigabyte and Aorus, blah 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 blah. ASRock, whatever you want. So normally when it comes to parts like that, I don't sort of differentiate too much between the brands because they've all got like better ones and worse ones, right? I generally if I'm suggesting like a high end PC for someone, I'm looking at like a case. Lian Li and Corsair are two of my go-to ones. I also like the Antec P120 Crystal as well. That's quite a nice case. Then there are obviously plenty of others, but I'm just giving you some broad examples. So Corsair make obviously like other than this shitty case, which is a bad example and a bad representation of the brand. Their brand overall is they make good quality stuff. Like even we've got a cooler coming up later. I'll show you. This is the H100X. So this has no RGB on it at all. This is just a plain, like non-RGB Corsair all-in-one liquid cooler. Still has Corsair's 5-year warranty on that part. So even Corsair's like cheap shit is still like orders of magnitude better than like the quality that you'll get on some of the other brands. So when it comes to parts like, you know, cases, coolers and bits and pieces like that, yeah, there can be a bit of a difference between some of the brands. But like I said, this is a very hard question to answer in a very short amount of time, if you know what I mean. But essentially, yeah, you gotta shop by price and you gotta shop by warranty. They're your two main sort of indicators of quality, right? If you're a little bit unaware of like the other things to look for that would show that it's quality. Yeah.
Darren says hi from the UK.
Hey Darren, how you going?
Fiona says good evening to Christine.
Hey Fiona, how you going?
Aaron wants to know, is anyone fell over any wires yet?
Anyone
No.
fell over any wires yet?
No, I haven't gotten up from my seat yet, so.
Alright, so we're going to remove the trash fans. Can't believe I'm removing Corsair fans to put Cooler Master fans in. I'm referring to the Corsair ones as the trash fans. Nah, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the Cooler Master fans. They are good quality fans.
I'm glad they make white fans that are like, cheap and.
Yep, and all white, and the cables are white, and
Yeah.
we can get rid of some of this black in this case.
Sean says, yeah, I've heard of the PC cases before.
Yeah. I mean, I've built in a whole heap of Leon Lee cases before. So if you're after good quality PC cases, right, and good value for money PC cases that still look good, definitely check out the brand Antec. They're not some new brand. I think they've celebrated either their 25th or 35th anniversary or something like that. Alrighty, so I had all these cables for these Corsair fans all tied up nicely here because we've got this clear side panel on the back, so I'm trying to keep it as neat as possible without the divider that comes over, because we can't they have this like sheath that comes down here to conceal cables because of the glass panel, but because of our RGB cable extenders, just block it sort of come out slightly then, we can't actually get that around there, so it's gonna have to, you're gonna be seeing like that cable there, and this one here won't be concealed behind it, and blah 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 blah. That's just the cost of the RGB cable extenders. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Basically, you're trading off how nice it could potentially look on the back side of your case to have it look even more awesome on the side that you look at all the time. So to me, that's a win. Most customers will be like, yeah, definitely, I still want the RGB cable extenders. I don't want a piece of metal at the back of the case. I'm never even going to look at that side anyway, blah, 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 blah. And we got one of these fans plugged in to the motherboard. And in addition to that, we'll also have to get rid of this Corsair RGB controller. Alrighty. Oh, I've unplugged the wrong one. Alrighty, there's our Corsair lighting node we won't be using. And Well, where are you getting caught, you bastard?
Tim,
Yeah.
what's the best PC case on the market, you reckon?
Oh. These are really subjective questions, man. Like the best case, if you ask 10 people what the best case is, like you'll get 10 different answers. There are plenty of cases that are good performing cases, right? Like that are objectively just as good as each other. But the best one, that really depends what you call in best, right? What's good look like? What does good look like? And you know, while some things you can say, well, yeah, that's what good looks like. With PCs, man, there's a lot of customizations. There's a lot of different case styles out there. Okay, so that's got to come out as well. Alrighty, well, I can go there with the spare Corsair ones. Now I better give that Leon Lee fan a deep clean before I put it into this case.
Yeah, I saw on the camera it was a little bit.
It's a little bit dusty. But it's free, so that's the main thing. It's free, it's white, and it's RGB.
He's not coming outside. He's doing something. Oh, she needs a puppo friend. I swear to God. Tim, if you know wants to know is if we're getting our weekly GPU update for tonight.
Oh, weekly GPU update. Oh.
Prices.
Hey, I'm not old mate from Moore's Law's dead. If you want your in-depth GPU update, definitely head over onto YouTube, look up Moore's Law is Dead, and you'll come across a guy who has friends in, I guess you could say, high places. No, he has a lot of industry contacts that like actually know stuff from Intel, AMD, Nvidia, etc., etc., etc. So much so he makes a YouTube channel about it with leaks.
Tim,
Yep.
Sean wants to know how many PCs do you customize per year?
Oh. Dude.
That's a hard question. He's done quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where I can't really handle many more inquiries on my own. I need help. Alrighty. Alrighty, so yeah, after I've given these fans a deep clean, barely even notice that it's a used fan. It will just look brand new and white and clean. Like, I didn't hold it up so you could see how dirty it was before. Maybe I should have, so I could show you how clean it is now. Alright. Last step. There is a process that you can do to clean these out relatively quickly. Alright. Let's go over the surfaces here. There we go. One nice, shiny, and clean Leon Lee fan. And so, look, actually, I might leave that because I'm not going to drill a hole in the top of this case or anything like that to top mount this radiator. This radiator is just going to be going on the front. The two fans that are on it are going to be going up the top here because I'll be able to get the fans in place, just can't get the radiator in place. So oh. Alright, that should just hang there for just a second. And so yeah, this is what I get for not double checking what the fans were like in this case, and just assuming that this $300 Corsair fan is going to have modern fans that work with Corsair's IQ software. Silly me, right? How could I be so stupid? So fucking stupid, right? I'm being facetious because the point is you assume that the Corsair's case will be one, able to mount a cooler up the top there, alrighty, so these fans come off here. Because these have this loop effect, so I'm going to keep these inside the case so they're a little bit more visible. And so look how messy and much of the stuff around it is when something like this goes wrong. Most PC places would just be like, nah, fuck that, just shipping it out as is, you pick this case, suck shit. But no, I couldn't do it, and I know that at the end of the day they're gonna much prefer this. It's gonna look better. It's just all around not gonna give anyone a headache. Okay. So those fans come off, and this is going to be mounted something like that. And if I could get... No, she's not around.
Yeah, hang on. What?
That's all.
Can I get you to hold this? Okay, so what we do here, the fans need to go inside the case. We need to get one in like that. We need the cables over here to the side. And then we're going to need another fan in. We need to slide that in like that. And make sure that cable is in the right place. Alright, now we've got to line it up with that. And then I've got to line it up, line the radiator up. Yeah. Alright. And we won't be able to use the included bolts there. We're going to have to use a different style of bolt. We need a flat bolt. These look like they're too short. Alright, so these should be relatively... Yeah, let go. There we go. So we've got opposite corners in place, so it should be relatively easy. To get the rest of these in. There we go. And so this will look much better with the white fans there. Yeah.
Joel says we all need help, right?
Oh.
Joel says it happens.
Oh man, like, seriously? I don't, yeah. Believe me that I do not ever intend to have to basically do someone's PC build and then basically have to pull it apart and redo it. But, you know. Okay. Challenge 1 is over. What equipment do they give me for their fans? They give me a 1:3 PWM splitter and I'll be able to get these cables back here, but I will need my pliers. Alright. Oh, a little bit of a rust stain on the cable. Oh no. There we go. So there's our two fans there from the front. We've got one more that we need to install. And luckily for me, I don't have to use the pliers for this one. I can actually see the hole. Alright, no worries. There we go. Oh, what am I doing? I got a shitload of just the right bolts right there. Oh man. Okay. Alright, well, there's the first part of our build sort of sorted. Alright. Now we just got to deal with the other three fans, and then we've got to deal with actually hooking it all up. Yay. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I've been speaking to her about this. While she's not a slave, she doesn't want to work at Coles anymore, and I'm like, well, you got to do something. Yeah.
Wants to know how do you rate the GPUs with the built-in AIOs?
GPUs with the built-in AIOs. Yeah. The thing that I don't like about it is that, you know, people run their GPUs pretty hard, or their graphics cards pretty hard, and that means they're going to run the pump on that AIO really hard, which means, and then as soon as that pump dies, you basically you've got one choice and one choice only if you want to keep that graphics card. That is to take that off and either find someone who's selling a spare air cooler or something, for that graphics card and put that on instead, or you need to go down the custom water cooled route. Custom water cooled route, which like that's a pain in the ass, and and they're not exactly the best solution long term. But then if you bought one of those graphics cards with the AIOs, and the say 3.5 years down the track the pump does die, maybe the custom water cooling option wouldn't be forever anyway.
Like a gigabyte water force.
It's just a lot of money though if it's not for a long time, right? Yeah. They warranty him for 3 years. So that's my big concern if I was looking at buying one for myself. Like, they only warranty normal graphics cards for 3 years. But, if I don't use mine very much, then it'll probably stay good for a lot longer than 3 years, right? So yeah, these are the things to consider, right? All right, so these two fans here, they're going in the exhaust position, obviously. Always makes sense to have these fans at the top of the case in the exhaust position, because heat will naturally rise in the case with the door closed. So heat will naturally go to the top, and then it gets pushed out the top of the case. So that's a really good solution. That's why I normally mount the radiator on the top of the case, ideally, because when we have to, for whatever reason, when we have to mount it to the front, while it's not going to be it's not like it's not going to be a total meltdown for your PC or anything like that. But the issue is that fundamentally, if you don't have the radiator on there, it's just pushing cool air into your case. If it's pushing it through the radiator, then it's hot by the time it comes out the other side of the radiator. So if you have the radiator on the exhaust part of your case, that makes the most logical sense. Okay, so what have we got left? We just got our newly cleaned Leon Lee fan for the back, but at least it should be relatively easy to feed that through here. Alright. Alright, well, at least now with this lighting and fan configuration, it'll all actually fucking work. What a fucking pain. What a fucking pain. Okay, what do they give you? A little fucking... what is that? That's a non-addressable controller, we won't be using that. Alright, well, let's daisy chain all this up, I guess.
Tim,
Yeah.
Fiona wants to know what the GPU is at in the PC.
This is a 3070 Ti Vision OC. So yeah, the Gigabyte Vision OC are the ones that have the white. Okay. Okay. So jimmy a few things around here. Always fun. There we go. You serious? Oh, it's stuck to the side of my fucking screwdriver.
Hmm.
fucking dead. Alright, actually, this... Alright. Alrighty. What else? What other RGB and fan problems am I going to have today? That is the question that I want to know. Alright, and we did have a triple PWM splitter here. It's nice. It's a nice long cable with nice long individual strands. That's good. That's a good touch. There's our fan header. And we won't be using this fan header anymore. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm pretty keen to see how she goes now. Some cables to tie down at the back there, but I'm not tying any of that down until I make sure that it actually works. Alrighty. Oh, there's something I've forgotten. Look at that. Leon Lee. So Leon Lee has some proprietary connectors. Okay. Well, look, at least we've got fans lit up properly. I'm gonna go ahead because we don't have the Corsair fans. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. I'm gonna uninstall the Corsair controllers. Because we literally do not need IQ anymore. Yes, we've got Corsair RAM, but that can all be controlled by the same lighting controller. Just a second. Alrighty. That's all sorted. Okay. So... Alrighty, so I'm just looking for a splitter cable because or if I can't include that, I'll have to actually add one of those Cool Master controllers to wire this up properly, which is a freaking bit of a pain. Alrighty, look, I will play around with that tomorrow because, yeah, I've got another PC to actually build tonight. But I think we're actually getting close. I think we're actually getting there. It's at least looking a lot better now. Now that we've got some actual, like, modern fans on the front there. So I don't need to play around with those top fans anymore. They're all good. So I'll put the top back on. Okay, so So one good thing about this case is it doesn't have a tight frame, so it's slightly open on all angles. And so what we might do is we might run some of the gaming benchmarks on this system, because we didn't get to do that last time. But we might just do a smaller selection. This looks like it's been all set up. Yep. Alrighty, so here's heaven. Okay, so that was heaven there. And final one we do is just the 4K one. Oh, and for some reason, it doesn't even want to display Reaver Tuner for me. Nope. Well, that's freaking really annoying. Sometimes superposition and Reaver Tuner just don't like to play nicely together. Yeah, there's nothing amiss over here. Oh, look, that doesn't matter. So this PC, all it's got to do is we've just got to do a stress test on it, and that'll be pretty much good to go. So I'm going to shut this one down for now because the main problems have all been addressed now. Yeah.
And then he was asleep. And Buddy was like, ooh. He went right up to the window. He was like watching us sleep. He's getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, yeah. Buddy, it's okay. Look, she's just laying in the bed whimpering. She wants to play with you and lick you to death.
Okay. Alrighty. So from a not so good Corsair case to a much better Corsair case. Okay. Ready to get started on the main event for tonight? I am, because I'm keen to go to bed at some stage. That'd be sweet. Alrighty. Oh, what's that? Is that a shipping label? Alrighty, so our build here tonight for Mick is, I'll go through the parts, the i7-12700KF, the 12 core 20 thread CPU, the latest 12th gen Intel i7. It's the K series though, so we'll have to we'll have to keep it nice and tame when we do our stress test. And so we've got two crucial P2 1TB NVMe SSDs, and we've got a 32 gig kit of Corsair Vengeance 3200 MHz CL16 memory. We're going to be putting it on the B660M Aorus Pro AX motherboard. We've got an 8TB hard drive here, a WD Blue. We've got an RTX 3060 graphics card. We've got a P850GM power supply there with a 5-year warranty. As discussed, we have the Corsair H100X cooler here, so even Corsair's cheap coolers have a 5-year warranty. And the case here is the Corsair 4000X in black. So it comes with 3 included RGB fans on the front there. It has an included Corsair lighting node, not unlike the one I just removed from the previous PC there. And that's all of the main components here that we're using tonight. So got a nice small graphics card box. I can just slide it over there like that. Let's get started on this build. So one good thing after dealing with all that RGB nonsense before is there's not really too much RGB for me to have to worry about here with this build. So Micks sort of said, he's like, oh, I'd like something pretty discreet. And I was like, yeah, this is a nice sort of, you know, fairly, like, looks fairly plain on the outside. It's got RGB fans on the front. If you don't like them, turn it off, or you can run them on just white. It doesn't have to be like multicolored or anything like that. It doesn't have to look like rainbow vomit. That is just the most popular lighting configuration, believe it or not. Alrighty, so I got a little bit of plastic to remove here. You know how much I love that. I don't actually love it, it pisses me off. Sometimes other cultures don't necessarily hear other cultures' sarcasm very well. So, while most Australians would have picked up on my tone of voice there that I was being sarcastic, if you're in America or UK or in like Korea or something like that, you might it might sort of go over your head, the slight tone. Can be sometimes a little bit hard to hear another culture's sarcasm. Alrighty, so all of the Intel K-series CPUs, they don't come with the coolers, so you have to have another cooler for them. And what's special about the K-series? The K-series is special because it is Intel's flagship for the generation. So if you get the i5 K-series, that's the best i5 that Intel makes from that generation. And same for the i7 and the i9. And so compared to the non-K ones, the K ones are like clocked higher from factory, so without overclocking or doing anything like that, even if you don't want to overclock or do anything like that, K series is still a good choice because it's more powerful and more capable straight out of the box compared to those other ones. So yeah, some people are like, oh, the only reason to get K is because of overclocking, and it's like, no, that's not true at all, because even if you don't overclock, it's still a much better performing CPU straight out of the box. And when it comes time to sell your PC, because it's the K series, the used buyer, they will recognize and know what I've just said about Intel K series. And they'll see your PC listing over the other one that's got a non-K CPU, and they'll be like, oh, that's the one I'm buying, you know? So sometimes, just like with cars, it's good to think about the flip side of the transaction when you go to resell. So yeah, it's not always like, just like you wouldn't go out and try and buy like the cheapest possible used car that you can find, or even, it's not even good advice to go and buy the cheapest possible new car that you can find. Because yeah, they generally won't age very well, and you're probably going to lose basically all of your money. No one's going to want to pay much for it secondhand. All of those sort of issues. That's why I don't understand some people's mentality with technology. But hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's what they say, right? Okay, so let's slot in NVMe number 1. And NVMe number 2. So it's always good if you're doing video and photo editing. There's always a drive that you're always constantly like deleting photos out of, like you're copying stuff from like your camera or another hard drive or something like that, and you're constantly saving photos to like one drive, working on them, you know, saving your finished products and then deleting everything that's in there and putting another lot of photos through there. So that's the purpose of having the 2 SSDs here. I've sold a couple of systems to people, and I've just sort of assumed that they understand that concept and they know to use it like that. But I've seen a couple of people who've like totally missed the point of having the 2 in there and the whole purpose of it. Because the point is that one of them gets more use and more wear and tear put on it than the other one. So have Windows and all of your apps and programs and everything that you've installed on the one that isn't going to get as much use, and then do all the use on the other one. So that's the rationale. That's the rationale with it. So yeah, some people will ask me for a video editing workstation, and I just go, oh yes, sweet, blah 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 blah, scratch drive, and yeah, they might not necessarily know the concept, which is partially my fault, I guess, because I'm just assuming people know what I know. But then the thing is, this is the flip side, right? If I get the impression I'm speaking to someone who's a professional, I don't want to patronize them by explaining like how the PC works. You know what I mean? Like, if they give me the impression that they're a professional and they're buying a workstation, then I assume they'll want, you know, dual SSDs as a minimum plus some storage, and they'll know what they're doing with the 2 SSDs. And I don't want to sort of patronize people, right? Like I'll tell people, I'll try to educate people where I can and stuff like that, but I don't want to come across as if I'm, yeah, that guy. Alrighty. So yes, 5-year warranty from Corsair. They've got it printed on the box there. The Corsair 5-year guarantee, and basically what they're basically telling you there with that warranty is you have a really high quality pump inside it. So you can expect 5 years or more of life out of this before it fails in such a way that you need to replace it. And you know, if you get really, really lucky, right, you'll get to like 4.5 years, and then the pump will die, and then you'll be like, "Hey Tim, my cooler's pump's died," and I'll be like, "Oh shit." And I'll be like, "Okay, do you wanna send it back?" And yeah, I'll be able to get you a refund for it. You'll be able to buy if you're local, then obviously just come here and I'll install it all for you. If you're interstate, you might not want to send me back your computer or something like that. So you might just want to get it fixed locally. But even 4.5 years later, because of that warranty, you send the broken one back to me, I'll put it through as a warranty claim, and I'll be able to get your money back for it. So that's one of the good things about going for the longer warranty there on parts, because like it you might think that, oh, what's the chances of that happening? Happens more than you think. Like my parents bought they bought like a washing machine, and I think it had like a 7-year warranty. It had like a really, really long warranty, right? And yeah, it was like 6.5 years, and it died, and then they got a brand new one, like the new model, with a new 7-year warranty. So yeah, you can get really lucky with it. Okay. So case is all open there and ready to chuck everything in. But the first thing we'll do is get our cooler attached to the board, because it is a million times easier to install your all-in-one liquid cooler when the board's not actually in the case. Okay, what have we got here? Alright, so we got one of these Intel back plates. They're adjustable on these sliders, so you can fit 2066, 1700, 1200, 1155. Sorry, 1151, I should say. 1155's going back a fair way. I don't think anyone's installing too many new CPUs into 1155 sockets these days. Alright, so we've got our back plate on there. It's the AMD kit we don't need. Take this little tray out here. So just be careful, Corsair coolers have pre-applied thermal compound. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. Some people buy like super premium thermal compound and they'll clean that off and put it on and stuff like that. It doesn't make a really big difference, so it's just not the kind of thing that I'd normally bother with. Ugh. Alrighty. Alrighty. And so I think we'll use, to keep the Corsair branding going, we'll use one of those crappy Corsair fans. Where are they? Over here. We'll chuck in one of these ones for a back fan there. So we've got 3 on the front, 2 on the rad, and 1 on the rear. Yeah, they definitely make these ones at the end of the day. They're a lot harder to screw in. All of the like top of the line IQ ones, all the bolts are, you know, really easy to screw in, right? There are none like this. They make these ones right before they have to change the drill piece, I swear. Okay, cool, cool. And so I'll have to move that one around, so I'll just leave that one like it is for now. And then yes, we're gonna run this one just up like that. Okay, So, this thick ass book that they give you for the case. Probably not quite necessary anymore, right? Alright, here it is. These are the ones that I want. Okay, so power supply time. Okay, so all these power supplies are modular, these Gigabyte P850 and 750s. Alrighty. Not going to fit all that in there, unfortunately. Alrighty, so this is our main ATX power cable for our motherboard. That goes into this big chunky one there. So 24 pins on one end and 30 pins on the other end. So you tell me what that means. So we need one SATA power, and we'll need one for our CPU and graphics card. Oh. Alright. Okay. So we'll get this hard drive locked away. There we go. And so yeah, we made our power supply face down in this case. Oi babe, just have a look at my phone. You alright? Alrighty. So I'm going to need CPU up there. Okay. Alright. Oh, whoops.
What?
Getting ahead of myself here.
You're not gonna upset me.
Yep. So yes, whenever we put a micro ATX board into an ATX case, we will have a couple of offsets to move around. You don't have to, like I'm not your mum, but fucking, yeah. It stops you from bending the bottom of the motherboard, basically. I'll just get a couple of bolts in the radiator here quickly. Okay. Okay, how's that looking inside our case? Nice and neat and tidy. Not touching that back fan there. Sweet. Okay. So that's our USB and front panel connectors, I think. Yeah. Oh. Fuck man, I'm not with it tonight. I'm totally not with it tonight. I'm having a night where I'd forget my fucking head screwed if it wasn't screwed on. Okay. Take two. Fucking hell. Alrighty, so got our front panel connectors here, reset switch, power switch, and power LED. So yeah, negative on the right, positive on the left. Alright, the fan headers, we got 1, 2, 3. That's plugged in. Alright, so Corsair did give us a single splitter. Okay. So connect the starter power to our pump. Connect starter power to our 8TB drive. And our power for the controller. Okay, we're getting pretty close to graphics card time. We need these two troublemakers. USB 3 and Type C. Very important. And we're also going to plug in a SATA cable. And now that we've got pretty much everything else on the board, no sneaky cables to route discreetly, we can go ahead and screw the rest of these back in. Oh. There we go. Alrighty. I'm going to plug our motherboard power in. Alrighty, graphics card time. Alrighty, slots 1 and 2 on this board. Alrighty, so we got 4 display outputs on this card, and we don't have any crappy plastic all over it. So that's always a good thing. Yeah.
Mary heard the music this night and she favourite song now.
Haha. Alrighty. So we just got our graphics card power cable to plug in. And yeah.
Check it out. Mary's my sister.
Okay. That is looking like a PC. So now let's just see if it actually works for us. That's the main thing. It's kind of pointless building it if it doesn't work.
Have a couple of goats.
Goats?
Yeah, you want a goat?
Fuck no.
Male one with big horns. Maybe not.
I don't have to tell you about goats. You've lived in the bush, you know what
No.
goats are like.
I love goats.
So if you're from the city and you're not familiar with goats, you don't know why I'm so fucking bent out of shape about fucking goats. Well, the reason is goats are like horses on steroids, and they absolutely destroy everything. They don't care if there's like, you know, no leaves left on the tree. They'll actually eat the fucking tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these things, you need to keep them like tethered to a chain and on like a pole where they can't like get out of the area, because they'll not only destroy all the trees and everything else, they'll destroy the grass, because their teeth are like a straight angle. So they get it right down to the grass and cut it off. And horses do the same thing. So cattle's teeth are shaped like this. So when they graze the grass, they leave a tiny little bit of grass there. So cattle, good for grazing, but you need to feed them a shitload of grass. If you don't have food for them, like either hay or some other kind of stock feed. So unfortunately we can't all just have a cow on our suburban blocks. Unfortunately, it just doesn't really work. And the thing is, the cows like cooch and the sorts of grass that we use for lawns, that's like really shit nutritional value when it comes to like animals and stuff like that. Oh.
Tim,
Yeah.
for your enormous know, if you've ever used a DisplayPort 1.4a to HDMI 2.1 adapter before, he says they don't work or...
Yeah, well, yeah, there's going to be all sorts of problems with that. Just from a technical standard, how software and apps will play with the adapter, basically. My advice is buy the correct cables and buy the correct screen for your graphics card and stuff like that. Don't use adapters and converters and stuff like that, because it's the difference between DisplayPort and HDMI is much more than just like one's a high refresh rate and one's not. I don't have time to get into it all, but there are big differences fundamentally on how that works. So when you try to convert from one to the other, it's not a perfect process, and different apps and whatever will get confused when you try and do it, and you won't necessarily get the full performance that you're expecting out of it. Alrighty, so that looks like one PC that is all ready to go. And we've got our cables tied away nicely back here, so that'll just screw on. Sweet. Alrighty. She's looking alive. Alrighty. Do you want to share the screen, babe?
No.
Well, do it anyway. I don't care if you want to or not.
Doing some. This guy's cute, but looks like another Jameson.
Alrighty. Okay, so we've got two NVMe SSDs here. We're going to be installing it onto drive 0. No problems there at all. Oh, but I shouldn't have put the back panel on just yet.
This little couple. She's already socialised with doggos that she needs to be a bigger doggo to go home with.
Hmm.
Yeah, bigger doggo. She's so adoption fee.
Yeah.
Fiona wants to know, how is it that some sites say an RTX 2080 Ti is better for gaming than a GTX 3080 for?
No sites say that. There's no such thing as a GTX 3080. And 2080 Ti is barely as good as a 3070. Just FYI. I can't remember which one's slightly ahead of the other one, whether 2080 Ti is slightly ahead of 3070 or 3070 slightly ahead of 2080 Ti, but 3080, RTX 3080, there's no GTX 3080, RTX 3080 is a good 35% better than 2080 Ti. Definitely a big difference. If you're reading online somewhere that 2080 Ti is better than a 3080, then that's just not true. I'm sorry. that the site is wrong. You can watch like when they launched 30 series, for example, they they did a big thing, a big breakdown. They showed where 2080 Ti sat next to the new 30 series cards for comparison, and like where all the 20 series cards were, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, you could just go on to like GPU, this like GPU compare, and just type in RTX 2080 Ti versus RTX 3080, and go and look at the comparisons. Okay, so let's get this Windows install smashed out. That looks like our graphics card driver. Okay. Come on. There we go. Sweet. All right. So we got all that other stuff installing, so let's get some other software. Okay, what do we need? Gaming apps on. Okay. We've got an NVIDIA graphics card.
A little bit partial to this case. I like it. No matter if it comes in black or white.
I mean, it is your case.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. That actually looks really cool from this side. You see there's that corset pump in the middle.
Yeah, well, he said he wanted it to be like discreet, and that's what I was going for. A little bit of color if you want it, but it's discreet.
You can turn the RGB off.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't pick the case because it had RGB fans. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got 2 other drives installed here and we can't see them, so let's set them up. Alrighty, so there's our other 2 drives. Our scratch drive and our box storage hard drive. Okay. So let's go and see what this thing can do. Oh, first, let me turn off shit that starts up automatically and annoys the crap out of you. Okay, so let's run Heaven here, just on the out-of-the-box settings, so high, no anti-aliasing. And this number here below RAM is how many frames a second it's currently running at. should be just enough charge for me to sign off. So, thanks everyone for watching. Sorry about the mic problem there at the end. But be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.